So your clues are, Steve, I played for Man United and Belgium. Graham Souness, are you real, man? Graham Souness, Marouane Fellaini. Oh, God almighty. How are we doing, everybody? Welcome back to the biggest Man United fan channel in the land. This is the United Stand. I am Kev Ashford. This is Van Cam, your road trip for Fulham against Manchester United. And previously, since I last spoke to you and addressed the United Stand Van Cam Nation, shall we call it? Why not? Manchester United in the Premier League as... What was going on, man? Man United won, Brighton 3. Again, I don't want to look back too much, but we have to look into these games. Was there positives to take from it? Was the balls, man? Was there any negatives? Yeah, a load of them. And these contradicting performances leave you with more questions than answers after the game. And Ruben Amorim, I said it about him before. Good-looking fella. He's come in, you know, he's under no illusion of the task in hand here at Man United, but he has come in. Some people might subscribe to the theory that he's working with his hands tied behind his back, which wouldn't be the first time we've heard that about a United manager under the Glazer regime. Sorry, something coming back up there. Yes, you certainly wouldn't. And he literally... I said it when he started, man. You know, take a good look at this guy, because this job is such a huge job. You know, that jet black hair and jet black beard will soon be going grey. You know, he'll soon be... You've seen the way that he is animated on the sideline, and he must be so frustrated that his ideas are not really getting over. And the annoying thing is, we have seen it work. We've seen it work at the Etihad, the Emirates, at Anfield. So the players, to an extent, certainly can get on board with it. It's the games like Brighton where there's the drop-off, and most recently the Europa League game against Rangers. Now, Ruben Amorim after it, and one thing I will say, he certainly speaks the truth. Now, this was evident clearly after the Brighton game, where, if you believe what reports have said, he's gone into the changing room and he's given it the full lock, stock, smoking barrels, the whole lot, fired a few of the F-bombs in, told them players basically that if they do not ship up, they will be shipped out. We've seen the way that he's dealt or dealing with the Marcus Rashford situation, and it is a situation, not a situation for him really to deal with. That's up to him to come in, look at the player in training, his attitude, application, whatever it is. He's obviously made a decision on that, and the club will have to abide by that. You know, it was a past regime that decided to make him the highest paid player at the club when he's not even the best player at the club. And so all these problems start to unravel at this club. And the worrying thing is when you look at a player like Garnacho, this PSR, FFP, it almost seems to have been designed that you have to... What is it? You are almost being encouraged to offload players that have come through your academy so you can abide by these laws. And to an extent, I do get it. But when you are having a balance the books, and in United's terms, let's not beat around the bush. United as a club are dead and broke. There is so much money going out of this club on repayments, the debt that is still clearly there. And maybe Sir Jim Ratcliffe has bit off more than he can chew. You know, Ineos have come in, they've got these great ideas, but they are not... Are they going to back this manager in the January window? I think it's very clear that Ruben Amorim would have preferred to come in the summer, get a pre-season under his belt, get all the players singing from the same hymn sheet. But he's had to come in and, you know, he's had no players. Again, what can be done in January to address this issue? There is no doubt in my mind that we need a left back. And we're being linked with Dorgu, there's Fernandez, who previously was at Man United. We need a left back. You know, we cannot hang our hats on Luke Shaw coming back into this team. Malacia, come on against Rangers, looked decent, man. He did. He looked up for it. And maybe that might give Amorim something to think about. But again, it's the past of the injuries. And we need a solid left back who is going to be starting, not injured, you know, and playing
games on that left-hand side because the balance is just not there. The midfield is becoming an issue again. I think it's been an issue for years and years. I love Ugarte. I think he's come in. There's been a slight drop-off, but the standards that he set in the bigger games against Liverpool, against Arsenal, he looked absolutely terrific. Ruben Amorim has alluded to the fact that he might be a bit fatigued, which I look at and I think, come on, man. You're a Premier League footballer. You're supposed to be the elite level. You're earning lots and lots of money. You know, has he been really overplayed? You know, is it asking too much for a player to play a couple of games of football a week? I don't know, maybe I'm a bit old school. But the midfield area is certainly becoming a concern. And against Fulham this evening, this is going to be a difficult game. And there's been no truer saying in this Premier League season that there is no easy game. Look at the gap in the middle from the bottom. I mean, United, don't get me wrong, we've been absolutely terrible this season. We turn up when we decide. We're a moments team. Yes, the manager's trying to implement his new system. But on the grand scheme of things, we are actually closer to relegation than we are to breaking into the top four. And the alarm bells should be ringing. And this is why Ineos need to back this manager. They need to back him big time. This was your man, the man you decided to bring in. If you don't give him the tools to do the job, what is he expected to do? And against Rangers on Thursday night, obviously De Ligt and Yoro both hobbled off. Hopefully they will be all right for this evening, but obviously coming up to kick off, Ruben Amorim might leave that one late. But Martinez, I thought, was absolutely fantastic against Rangers. But I go back to the midfield area, and this is the really the key component of this club, and this is where we are losing out so much the battle. I mean, so many times Ricky on the fan forums, he has said that we're getting overrun in the midfield. We need that extra man in there. That can be achievable, and Toby Collier has been, he was brilliant against Rangers. That's his European debut. So to take it into context, you have to look and think, he gives him the energy. But what he gives Ruben Amorim, a bit like Kobbie Mainoo when he broke through with Erik ten Hag, he gives an option, and he's a player that is going to listen. You know, we have some players that are internationals, they're late 20s, they're supposed to be so-called experienced players. Some of these players won't really take it on board. But when you've got players like that are young, they're raw, you can sculpt and mould these players into your way of thinking and your system. And great teams have been built by using this philosophy. So Collier, I'm not bigging him up and beefing him up to be, you know, the next Zinedine Zidane or anything like this, but he can get up and down the pitch. And in an area where you've got an Eriksen, Casemiro has clearly been frozen out. Ugarte has been good, you know, but it is finding that blend in the midfield. And maybe a bit more long-term, yes, Ugarte and Mainoo could be that too. You can have Collier trying to break into this team. But, I mean, if you wanted to go with Collier and Ugarte as the two in midfield, why are we not trying Kobbie Mainoo as the 10? Play him as the 10 with Bruno Fernandes, but you know, one of them has to be expected to drop back and make that midfield the free. You need the extra man in there. They can't be lingering around in the final third. Bruno Fernandes is capable of it. Kobbie Mainoo is as well, and they are both capable of making things happen. Special moments like the one on Thursday night. Bruno Fernandes, the ball from Martinez was unbelievable, but again, another great finish, and probably one for the people that don't get Bruno Fernandes and what he is about. You know, he is up there now in the scoring charts, and he has been playing well. It does the annoying thing with United at this moment in time, within about 5 minutes of a game, you can tell whether we're going to be up for it, whether we're going to get anything out of this game. Now, when all them players drop off, it's like a virus in the team. It's infectious, and everybody seems to be awful. Nobody wants the ball. It's like a hot potato. I don't want it. You know, passing it sideways. What are you giving it me for? You have it back. And it's so annoying. But when they are at it, they're all at it. and it isn't sustainable. We need consistency. That is the key. We are in January. You know, before we know it, this season will be over. And the Europa League, we've done all right in that. You know, we have done well, and that is the gateway to the Champions League. And I know a few you'll be laughing, Kev, you're delusional. What a tit. What's Kev on about? It is. And the year that Jose Mourinho won it, he put all his eggs in the Europa League basket to get United in the Champions League, because we were well off it in the Premier League. I mean, if I was to sit here and suggest for 1 minute that we've got a top 4 bid on our hand and we can break in there and get, you know, 4th spot, you know, the men in white coats would be on to me and saying, Kev, you know, knocking on the door and say, what? You know, like, come on, lad, you're coming with us. And it is. That's what it is this moment in time. But Fulham is going to be a difficult game. Like I said, there is no easy game, but you have to get the blend right in this midfield. The other big talking point was Bayinda. Clearly Onana was dropped. I'm not having it. People are like, no, he's just giving him a game in the Europa League. The mistake against Brighton was unforgivable. The fact that he was solely responsible for us exiting the Champions League. The mistakes have been horrendous. And for me, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Bayinda has done well. He was man of the match against Arsenal, and he played well against Rangers as well. Made some great saves. Yeah, he's not great at playing out from the back and all that, but there's a modern day snobbery against it. You got to have a keeper who can play with his feet. Yeah, you also need a keeper that can keep a ball out of the net. You know, that's his job. Yeah, that's the basic fundamentals of being a goalkeeper. I've spoke for too long. What I would say is, am I confident for this evening? Ooh, I'm on the fence slightly. Am I? I think United will win this. It's time to turn up. I'm looking for the hard hat. Get your score predictions in. Make sure to finger that like button. Show your appreciation for the United stand and everything that's going on. We've got all your match day content coming up, so you don't need to go anywhere else. I am going for a 2-0 Man United win. You having that? I'd love it. Absolutely. I'd love it if we beat them. Love it. Kevin Keegan mode activated. And for United at the cottage, against Fulham. You know what it is? It's time for this. It's the Come On United! Hey!